There's a second bill that I understand is coming up next week as well, and it's called the Equality Act. Now, I would tell you, it's a great name, and I don't know of anyone on my side of the aisle or the other side of the aisle that opposes equality. And I will state frankly, no person should be discriminated against in America. No person. It's a basic constitutional principle. We are all equal under the law, all of us. We have different ideas about music and food. We have different ideas about sexuality. We have different ideas about occupations. We have different skin colors. We have different faiths. We are a tapestry. And that's one of the things that makes us strong in such a perfect way to build a more perfect union. I believe that every person should be protected from discrimination in America, but that does mean every person. Today, the Supreme Court ruled 9-0 in the Supreme Court that Catholic Social Services in Philadelphia was being discriminated against by the city of Philadelphia because the city of Philadelphia said to Catholic Social Services, you cannot practice your Catholic faith in foster services. Now, what's the story? There have been Catholic services in Philadelphia since the 1700s. For the last 50 years, Catholic Social Services in Philadelphia, this particular organization, have served the neediest children in that area, providing foster services and placement for them. They're a religious organization, a faith-based organization, a Catholic organization, and they believe that God created man and woman, and that's God's design for marriage. So in their placement of foster children, they place children in a home where there's a man and a woman that are present for marriage because of their profound belief. Now, there are 20 other foster services in Philadelphia that place foster children in any family situation, husband and wife, or two men and two women. 20 of those services in Philadelphia. But the city of Philadelphia went to Catholic Social Services and said, you have to be like the other 20, you cannot practice your faith. Even though literally Catholic Social Services had never had a gay family reach out to them for an adoption placement, they had gone to other places. The city of Philadelphia said, no, you have to change your practice. Unfortunately, Catholic Social Services had to argue for their religious freedom all the way to the Supreme Court, and today they ruled 9-0 that a faith-based institution cannot be discriminated against because of their faith. They should be able to live out the tenets of their faith and to be able to practice that. Now, to me, that's a great decision to be able to make, to say, why can't we coexist? Why can't we honor everyone in their differences of opinion? As even the Supreme Court stated today in their opinion, there was no work from Catholic Social Services to stop gay marriages in Philadelphia or to stop couples from fostering children that are gay couples there. They just chose not to do it based on their faith. So they weren't working against individuals, they were practicing their faith. Then comes the Equality Act vote next week. The Equality Act would, for the first time ever in this Congress, would take away the Religious Freedom Restoration Act in statute, would remove it, and to say there could be no protection for religious institutions, directly a shot against the Supreme Court in a 9-0 decision today to say, no, the religious institutions have to be protected in their decisions. Why can't both exist? Why do we have to get into a situation, as the Equality Act does, saying if you don't agree with one particular expression, then you have to be canceled. You have to be silenced. Why has it come to this in America? The way the Equality Act is written is that any faith-based institution, if they did any public outward-facing work at all, if they fed the homeless, which many do, if they provided clothing, if they took care of individuals with food that needed it, if they did any outward-facing work at all, they were considered a public accommodation. Their labor laws, even if they're a religious institution, had to be exactly like large corporate labor rules as well. Literally imposing on religious institutions. You can be a private entity and be inward-facing, but if you're going to do your mission to actually serve the needy, then you've got to actually shift to be like corporate America. That's not providing opportunities for people of faith to live their faith. Now, I have to tell you, I honor people of faith, people of different faiths, people of faiths that I disagree with. That's the nature of religious liberty in our country, is to be able to honor people of different faiths. That's also what the Supreme Court reaffirmed today, directly in contradiction to the Equality Act, which clearly, if this were to pass, and I do not believe it will, the Supreme Court would hear immediately, would align with this case from today, and would say, we've already ruled on these issues 9-0. That is not allowing people to be able to live their faith. But unfortunately, there are some in this body that not only vehemently disagree with the Supreme Court and with the opportunity for people to be able to live their faith, they're willing to do it in the most pejorative of terms. When I spoke against the Equality Act in the Judiciary Committee just weeks ago and shared the issues that I had that are pragmatic labor issues and set those in front of it, and also did a challenge on religious liberty issues and said, here are the obvious issues of religious liberty where I think it's unconstitutional. The response I got from a member of the Judiciary Committee was, this reminds me of the Ku Klux Klan, who burned crosses and used religious symbols to hide behind their bigotry. The Supreme Court disagreed with that today and said, we are the United States of America. We honor people of faith to be able to live their faith. We honor people that don't have faith or have differences in their faith and choose to be able to live that out. And this body should not try to cancel out every group in the country of faith that disagrees with people in this body and to say, you cannot practice your faith if we tell you no. That's not who we are. The Equality Act is not about equality. It's about imposing and prohibiting disagreements. We're Americans. We can respect each other and disagree. We can live next door to each other and disagree. Let's prove it in this body by not passing the poorly named Equality Act, but actually demonstrating what this act says it wants to demonstrate. Let's treat each other with respect in our differences and honor us in that. With that, I yield the floor.